Hey, welcome back to Inside Gaming. The newest console generation looms on the horizon like a swarm of intimidating teens who are all cooler than us.
Not hard to do. Yeah, there's been a lot of talk lately about teraflops and exclusives and services and series and X's and 5s. You've heard it, you certainly have if you've been watching our channel.
For real, the next gen console cycle is paying our meager paychecks.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, they only seem meager due to the astronomical costs required to maintain our Predator Thronos gaming chairs. They've ruined us.
Well, what, am I supposed to not use it? I've moved into a storage unit.
Sits at an angle.
Constantly slamming into the walls. Anyway, you know what else is actively being ruined? Our planet.
Oh no! A socially conscious episode.
Uh-oh. Sound the alarm.
Yeah, so though we're not the first to say it, we are sorry to say that game consoles are pretty rough on the old environment. From the way they're constructed, to the way that they run, to the way we buy games.
Yeah, so before researching it made enough sense. I mean, yeah, things come at a cost. All we can do is mitigate the impact where we can. Well, we had no idea just how much consoles and gaming in general actually contribute to global emissions.
However, we love video games.
Yeah.
And with some tweaks to our habits and how companies do things, we can keep Earth as a nice place to live. You know, for the people that like to go outside, the damn freaks.
I say we put all planet Earth down like the dog she is.
Take her out back
You know what I'm
behind
talking about?
Mars.
Yep.
Is Mars bigger? No, Mars is smaller. Tech manufacturing is harmful in general, so why are we focusing on gaming specifically?
You're watching a gaming channel. Come on, what do you think? So as far as appliances go, the console cycle is actually particularly harmful when coupled with the energy required to run and create these machines.
Yeah, every 4 to 6 years, a new generation is created and sold with further sub-iterations between those versions. Sometimes those re-releases offer improvement in power consumption, like the Slim. Sometimes they don't, like the Pro. We'll get into it.
Yeah, the issues with the consoles themselves are twofold. First, concerning manufacturing, and then the power a console uses over its lifetime.
The power of a lifetime. The Verge's Lewis Gordon disassembled the PS4 Slim with the help of Cambridge engineers and scrutinized every part. We'll highlight a few of their findings here. From the chips powering the console to the cardboard it's packed in, these machines are staggeringly energy intensive.
Oh no, Cambridge. PS4 is made with a lot of plastic, and though Sony is actively making efforts to increase their use of recycled plastic, those recycled materials only make up a percentage of the total plastic used. And plastic is wildly heavy on emissions. If a new console were made without recycled materials, that would account for 1.6 kilograms of carbon dioxide put into the atmosphere per PlayStation.
When you're not using recycled plastic and you're manufacturing it, that is called virgin plastic.
I don't like the name, but I mean, from now on, I will insist on virgin plastic.
Excuse me.
Was this made with virgin plastic?
made with virgin
No, I'm sorry, I'm
product?
not interested.
As the complicated mechanisms inside consoles become more complex and compact, the energy needed to process the materials shoots up. As Claire Barlow, a sustainability expert, said in Gordon's piece, you miniaturize a product and you maximize your carbon footprint.
Calls to mind my efforts to breed the smallest horse in the world. What?
I don't know, just read it.
Oh no, I'm sorry, I just forgot that I had done that. I've done so much animal husbandry in my life. So no matter how small I got it, the feet were enormous. I don't know what I was doing wrong. I don't know how to
You'll
fix
crack that horse yet.
I hope so.
When taking in the console as a whole, it is abundantly clear how much Sony is designing these with cost in mind above all else. I mean, they want to sell their products, keeping costs down facilitates that. Bing, bang, boom, hey, you got a PlayStation!
Come on.
Come on.
But in keeping retail prices down, materials are sourced with money in mind and not really environmental impact. Roughly only 20% of the steel in China is recycled, but it's cheap, so Sony's gonna keep using it.
Then there's the power these consoles consume over their lifetimes. The story that brought this topic to my attention referenced this dorky infographic, which in and of itself is a little odd.
Yeah, the graphic was created either by or for a site called slotsonlinecanada.com, a Canadian online casino website.
Are they trying to siphon ecologically conscious gamers away from AAA console games and instead to weird online HTML5 slot games? I mean, that would be quite the conspiracy. Unfortunately, they didn't respond to my inquiries. Come on. What's up, gamers? I just need to butt in for a quick second. The kind people over at Slots Online Canada actually got back to me. They responded to my inquiry about why their site specifically was covering this. Just asked out of curiosity. And Greg said, as a gambling company, we can see how many people have an interest in gaming, whether it's online slots, casino games, or video games, and so feel a responsibility to raise awareness of the environmental impact of streaming or downloading games across all sectors. Why them, you may ask? Well, video games are arguably more far-reaching than online slots, so that's why we focused on that as a medium, but the message works across all sectors. Okay. Well, thank you, Greg, for the added context. I guess they just care. You know, I think more people could just
I feel like not as much crossover as they think, maybe. Online slot gamblers, too. That is insane already. At least like poker or something. You're playing with other people.
It seems to have been compiled by somebody with maybe just a surface level understanding or interest in games. For instance, it lists Assassin's Creed Odyssey as the most environmentally damaging game to complete because of its gameplay, which spans a whopping 40 hours.
What?
Yeah, clearly they didn't talk to us about Destiny or The Witcher or anyone who's lost a loved one to WoW.
Persona 5, Red Dead.
Other Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah.
Conspiracies and dorky pixel art aside, the information it presents is sound enough and it's backed up by other studies.
All right, well, one such study, Green Gaming Energy Efficiency Without Performance Compromise, said in California, where the analysis was centered, video gaming uses more power than electric water heaters, cooking appliances, clothes dryers, dishwashers, or freezers.
Yeah, and it shows American gamers are responsible for around 12 million tons of carbon dioxide a year.
Damn.
Which is the same as 2.3 million passenger cars.
Holy sh**.
That's bad.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But it used to be worse.
How?
According to the graphic, the PS3 was far and away the worst console for CO2 emissions, fitting that coincided with the Hummer 2's heyday. God, we were on some shit in 2006,
Yeah, it was
man.
awesome. Pretty cool.
I need to take my sons Hunter and Troy to soccer practice, but I also need to be prepared to run over a town.
So Sony made improvements during the PS3 generation, decreasing the wattage required with hardware and software updates. That carried through to the PS4 generation, which saw further energy improvements with the Slim. However, those may have been offset by the energy required to run a PS4 Pro.
Maximum wattage of a PS4 Pro comes in 24% higher than that of the launch PS4. Sony's apparently making efforts to conserve energy where they can. Exec Jim Ryan said, "At SIE, we have made substantial commitments and efforts to reduce the power consumption of the PS4 by utilizing efficient technologies such as system-on-a-chip architecture integrating a high-performance graphics processor, die-shrink power scaling, as well as energy-saving modes such as suspend to RAM."
Who are we talking about?
My neck hurts.
So yes, they're talking up their energy consciousness, but it's difficult to separate good intentions from marketing/lip service.
Though our gambling Canadian friends say the PS5 could be actually relatively environmentally friendly, given improvements in performance that get more performance out of each watt. Watt? Remember that meme? It's just like a woman, she's like, watt?
No. If I start understanding and supporting your jokes, this show is dead. The Xbox Series X is not looking so hot by their predictions, allegedly doubling emissions it took to run the Xbox One.
Hell yeah!
Yes,
Cool.
that's awesome.
Naturally, we go through all this trouble to play games, which come with their own associated costs. Depending on which study you're reading, carbon costs have been linked to both physical and digital games.
Well, it's even worse if you're like me and run all your consoles off of a gas generator.
It's even worse that you keep that generator inside your house.
Oh, it's incredibly
The monoxide
dangerous,
levels
yeah.
are off the
It's
charts.
bad. I have to leave windows open.
That's why I can't do online gaming with you, because you're just coughing the whole time.
Well, and the sound.
The sound of the generator and the 16 consoles.
I'm just blindly. I don't even have a game on. I'm just holding a controller with Chrome browser open.
One study claimed digital was worse overall than buying physical. However, that study attributes the increased energy cost of digital to the internet usage required to download a digital game. Since many physical game discs are now glorified activation codes, I'm kind of wary of such reasoning. That study was also during the PS3 generation when I think you got more information on the disc. If you're buying a disc made of the case and the disc are made of plastic and downloading stuff,
Yeah.
well,
And hold on, PC gamers, we see you sneaking out there in the back. Just because we're technically not part of the console cycle, our machines are implicated as well. Graphics cards alone pull just as much energy as consoles, if not more.
I'm sorry you had to hear it from such soy boy beta cucks as us. And the people that have already written that in the comments have definitely stopped watching the video. But in 2018, PC gamers were estimated to use roughly 75 billion kilowatt hours. 1.21 gigawatts! That's Back to the Future.
Thank you. No,
Dr.
it's
Emmett
Time
Brown.
Cop.
No, that's RoboCop.
No.
Halftime, all time.
I think it's Cyborg. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Is it Kickboxer?
Justice League.
On Deadly Ground.
75 billion kilowatt
Under
hours.
Siege 2?
75 billion kilowatt hours of electricity annually, which, let me ground that for you, amounts to the output of 25 power plants.
That's a lot of plants.
I know that's like bad, but I mean, way to go, guys.
impressive,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, you're a master race, maybe
Yeah.
the last one. I mean, we're part of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what about streaming? Isn't Stadia going to save us all from ourselves? Well, no, not particularly. In fact, not at all.
Even though graphics are processed remotely, transferring that data back and forth is really, really aggressive in energy use.
Streaming to a desktop computer will actually increase power consumption by up to 60%, and on laptops up to 300%.
Oh!
Oh. Woo! It reminds me of electric cars being touted as some kind of climate change cure-all. Your car may not be doing the that directly damages the environment, but 63% of US power still comes from fossil fuels. Let this serve as your weekly reminder that Elon Musk is not some kind of energy Jesus, or green Batman, or woke Tony Stark. Maybe he's just another rich guy who wants to sell you a car. I don't know.
Not shaming anyone, just presenting facts. We here use just as much power as the next person, maybe more, definitely more.
We're plugged in. We're jacked in.
We're in a big ass studio right now. It's really difficult to be an ethical consumer, but given the state of the world, I look for some ways to decrease my power usage, but still play games. You did that. I'm just reading what you said.
That's right. He's my puppet. Watch this.
No, I'm not your puppet. No, I'm my own man.
There's a lot of conflicting information, but when you're buying games, digital seems like the best choice if you're gonna have to download the game anyway. And for physical games that have been out for a while, try to buy used while there are still GameStops, and you can get it online too. But also, if you want to get a Steelbook Collector's Edition, that's fine. They're not mass produced. Like, enjoy. You should collect if you want to collect. As for consoles, the best place to have an impact is messing around with the power settings.
Yeah, so the most effective solution is to turn the console fully off when you're not using it. Do that.
No.
PS4, at least the launch model, takes forever to boot up, and then the additional time to start whichever game you want to play takes forever in...
Relatively.
Exactly. In the grand scheme of things, it's probably still less than a minute.
And it's not something you think about either. Since I got my PC, I just don't play my PS4, but it's been in rest mode the whole time. So when I was reading about this, I was like, oh, I should just turn that off. But it doesn't have to be a binary choice. PlayStation offers options to disable USB charging after 3 hours and to toggle standby downloading.
If you don't want to do it for the environment, consider the power savings. Users who switch off their machine throughout its life will end up saving enough to pay for their next console.
Yeah, these things use a lot of power. The authors on the Green Gaming study mentioned earlier created a website that advises people on ways to best save money on the power bills.
Yeah, it has all kinds of useful tips, especially for PC players, like the energy savings of using VSync or disabling unused components of your motherboard.
However, just as in all other climate issues, the responsibility falls to companies. Individuals can take as many small measures as they please, but it will be a fruitless effort if Sony, Microsoft, and the others don't make the effort to source more sustainable materials and create more efficient machines.
Yeah, it's on the companies to figure out a way to do so without charging us out the ass for a console.
In the meantime, we're going to enjoy our wonderful coastal city while it's still above water.
Yeah, not for long. We got a few more weeks, I think.
For all you people that have complaints about us doing soy topics or whatever, shut the f up.
This is Steve Spahn. He's the COO of the Able Gamers Foundation, a nonprofit focused on enabling people with disabilities to play games. For over 15 years, Steve and the foundation have been working to raise awareness of people like him, who are passionate about games, but need additional options to be able to play them. Accessibility activists are not now,